Well, hello everyone. I hope everyone had a good new year and ready for another one. We'll have to see how all that goes. I'm going to do a intro to this 11,000 and go over a couple of issues that I've run into already, and I've barely gotten started on this. The tracks are pinned, but they're pinned with a piece of plastic. And there you can see 4 of them already that broke. I took a little piece of plastic and sanded it down and stuck it in there and fixed them. I don't know if that's just a piece of the pin or not, but that's what it took. Then a couple of things here get tied on with these little pins here with this little collar, and you can see it snaps on, and it's I don't know if you're gonna be able to see inside of it, but it's depressed inside. It's flat on one side, and it's got a little depression on this side. There it is. You can see it. And these things are pretty tough. The 4th one I went to put in broke on me. That's what I ended up with. So be careful with that. I don't really have a problem with this yet, but it is actually starting to loosen up. You can see it right there. Yes, you can hear it. And I had to drill this out. I couldn't get 4 holes to line up, no matter how I put this thing on, but it only goes one way. So I had to drill that out because I couldn't get a pin through it. I got 3 pins in, and the last one wouldn't go in. Probably my own deal. Over here to the boom, you get plenty of boom. That main boom is roughly about 7 foot, and the jib's probably about 1 foot long. And I'll show you, but they don't tell you what pendants to use and how to do this on your fixed jib. And you can see that the pendant's going for the tip of the jib. They come to the fixed mast, and then they go down to the boom. There they are right there. They don't tell you to use these. So it took a few minutes to figure this out, that this one has to go over this one once it's on that little pin right there, that little boss right there. And it does not explain it. It doesn't tell you which ones to use. So get a good look at that. The black ones go for the jib. And all these yellow ones and the red ones here go for the main boom. Doesn't tell you that, but I couldn't get my boom tip on. I had to take the ends here and spread it apart a little bit real carefully so I could get it to go over the boom head and get it bolted on here. Another small problem. It did not just slide right on there like they typically would do. I'm going to run through this manual real quick, the instructions. I'm going to show you what I mean. Let me get this somewhere where I can open it real good. You can see there's really no text. They don't really give you any idea. If you're new to this, you may be struggling with it for a little while, because they just don't tell you much in here. Now they do tell you what to use here, but yeah, you got to figure all of these out. And I'm gonna go back here to the beginning. They tell you to put that in there, but it takes a minute to figure even that out. Not too much, but yeah, if you're new at this, it's going to be a struggle. I still haven't figured this out. It says don't cut it, loop it, and do something here. I have no idea. I've never seen a crane do that before, and I don't know why they would. The reeving is going to be different. Typically, you come off one of your dual drums and you go to the end, and you reeve them, do a crossover, and finish the reeving, and it would come back down to the drum. But as you can see, it starts right there and comes around this pulley. And it starts its crossing and skipping pulleys. And I may go ahead and try doing that. I'm not going to do it live, but I may try to do that. Now here's the only explanation to the booms, is the way the catwalks are on it. And you can see how they are different on each one of these. Well, that's a reducer, so it's easy to tell. And it tells you where to put each of them. In the number one boom, you got a couple there, you got a couple there. But that's about the only way they describe it. Now, as you can see on the jib, it doesn't tell you what you're using. It just shows this put together, where nowhere in here has it mentioned the jib yet. Now this tells you which of these to use. It numbers them and tells you which one of these to use, which is easy enough. But as you can see, there's nothing really telling you what to do. It just kind of shows you stuff done already. This is obviously telling you need two people to lift this boom up, and I bet you do. And there he is. There's one guy lifting it right there, and there's one guy spooling it up. All right. Here we go to the reeving, and as you can see, there's still nothing on which pendants to use on the jib, how that all works. So when you get to that, pay attention. It is a little tricky. It even took me a minute to figure some of this out, make sure I have it right. So if you're new at this, yeah, call somebody. Don't get too frustrated. I thought I could see which one I drilled through, but it obviously didn't even show up on here. That's the one that got drilled through. And obviously the car body is made properly, but this had the hole off just a little bit right there. So my last problem I noticed is that hangs down. The other one goes straight. It slips in there and goes straight, but I'll probably end up having to glue that so it'll stay straight. Some minor issues, but all in all, I like this crane to begin with. It is really big. These tracks are huge. You can compare them really close to the 8800. I'm going to go ahead and do an assembly on it. I'm not going to do it right now. I just wanted to make a real quick intro to it. I have done, as you can see, some prefab. These are nuts and bolts. As you can see, they're pretty big. It's actually a screw. There's the screw. And these were really hard to do with the tool they gave you. The first 3 or 4 would stay in here. You could push them in and they would stay in, but you know, after you tighten them, it starts loosening up. I stuck a piece of tape on here on the one side, And then I just stuck the nut in here and it stuck on the tape. And then I could stick it down inside here. Otherwise, I was struggling with it. I even tried using my little magnet to get these things down inside here, where I could start screwing them in, because my fingers don't fit. As you can see, my fingers are a little too big for that. I wish I was 10 years old again. So I did go ahead and I prefabbed all this because it's boring and it took a while to get all that in there. And I was just fumbling with it for a while to get all of them in there. There are several tight spots. Like this one. You can see I couldn't put this in the other way. It gets too close to the pulley, although it's above it. I couldn't get a nut on it. So I had to take them out and turn it around, and I still had to fiddle with it. I don't know if everybody's is going to turn out like mine. I haven't heard anybody complain, but yeah. That took a few minutes to do because the head of the bolt gets caught in the pulley. And the only other thing I found, I don't know, I haven't messed with it yet, but my pulleys back here are jammed. All of these turn at once. I don't even know if they're separate pulleys or sheaves, but you can see that stuff's just not even, it's not even straight. Now look at how that one is. So it's got a couple of issues. I noticed these, this only goes up to here and then it locks. And I'll show you on the other side. You can see this one does that too, and it stops right there. And it doesn't look like that's the way that's supposed to be. Let's see if I can get a good shot in there. And you can see that little thing right there. And it catches on that bar. And I'll have to check this a little closer. Maybe this is the way they go, but that doesn't seem right. I don't know why they would do that. Plus, they're kind of tight. Like I said, I don't know how everybody else's is. Mine's got a couple of small issues with it. All in all, like I said, I do love this thing. It's huge. I can't wait to get going on it and get it together. I'm gonna have to put the boom on in the room. I don't know how I would get this thing in the bedroom or where I have everything. So I'll probably end up doing some assembly out here. I have this ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and do a live assembly and assemble all of this stuff on here. And when it gets to the reeving, that's when I'm going to stop. So I have done that. That wasn't that easy either. I took the tracks off. Yeah, I keep remembering now. Let's see if you can see in there. Yeah, you can see where them are, right there. Now, that back part, and with the tracks, you can barely get your finger in there. So I took the tracks off. And without the tracks, this bottom one was a lot easier to stick that thing in, because I struggled with it. And there it shows where they are. But yeah, it was tough to try to snap that thing on there. It's very tight. So I'm gonna move on. This will be where I start because I've done all of this. I have the tracks on. That's all I did was put the tracks on, pretty much. So I'll start right there, and we'll do everything on that page, and then it gets to the reeving, as you can see. So hang in there, stand by. We'll next video will be a partial assembly. I'm gonna reeve that, and then we'll do the and then we'll move right along. We'll move right to there, and we'll start putting everything else on. I've got some of that out already. So the fun is just to begin. All right, guys, and if I think of anything else, I'll bring it up. I can't remember. I should have wrote all this stuff down. Oh, if I were you, and again, I don't know how everybody else did, you're gonna need that. I had one of the holes in the boom. I had to punch a small hole in it to get this started in it and drill all that paint out of there. And I have probably run this through 90% of the booms that I've done, and pendants. Even the pendants, I had to run this through there and clean them out so I could screw these things in. So they were tight. A lot of paint in them. All right, guys, if I can think of anything else, I'll go over it when we start on the assembly. I finally got this table here cleaned off, and I can do an assembly on it. I couldn't do an unboxing here. I had too much stuff on it. That's just the way it is on the holidays. So have a great day, y'all. Thanks for watching, and upcoming assembly. Have a great day now.